Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life of Barney. And after a 2 or so week hiatus of new episodes, today I'm going to show you how to make stock. Now, you might be asking, what in the world would you need to use stock for, or why would you want to make it yourself? First off, I'll tell you why it's a DIY that's good for you. One, you know what the ingredients are going to be. There's not going to be some long chemical names in the ingredient list because you're making it yourself with all your own ingredients. Number two, what is it used for? Stock is used in anything for the bases of soups. How does it relate to barbecue though? Injections. We're going to get into that. I'm going to do a whole series of injection videos coming up after this one. But first and foremost, I want all of you to know how to make stock at home because that's going to be the basis of all the injections I will show you how to do in the next few videos that I put out. Let's begin. What you're going to need in order to make stock are veggies. And I don't mean you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of veggies because you're going to throw them all in. No, it's actually the vegetable scraps that you're going to use. For instance, let's say you're going to cook up something and you need some onion. You've chopped up your onion, throw it in your skillet or pan or the oven or whatever, but all the scraps, throw them in a bag. Maybe you need a pepper for something. Take your scraps, throw it in a bag. Cooking with carrots and peeling them. Carrot scraps in the bag. Maybe you're cooking something with celery. Celery scraps in the bag. Just throwing it out there. Cooking with garlic. Got your garlic scraps? Throw them in the garbage. No, I'm just kidding. Throw them in the bag. After a while, your bag's going to start to get pretty full. But after each meal prep, when you've saved all your scraps, throw it in the freezer. Next time you're prepping for dinner, chopping up veggies, and you have more scraps, take it out, throw them in, seal it up, and freeze it again. Eventually, your bag of veggie scraps is going to be full. And when it's full, that means it's time to make your stock. Doesn't hurt if you happen to have a soup bone. Get yourself a stock pot. This one's a 16 quart stock pot. If you don't have one, if you go into the description down below, I've actually provided an Amazon link so you can pick yourself one up. Anyway, grab your stock pot, 16 quart. We'll do about 2 bags worth of vegetables. Without overflowing, you fill it up with water. Something you have to keep in mind, the smaller your pot, the less veggies you can put in because they displace the water. More veggies means less water. So you need a bigger pot. Dump it in. Okay, what you didn't just see in that last cut were little technical difficulties. So Holly is normally the one that makes the stock. And when I dumped the 2 bags in, as you can see, it was basically overflowing. And I just finished telling you, if you put too many vegetables in, then you can't put as much water in, so you don't get as much stock. I have a whole bunch of corn that was grilled and smoky and delicious that's in here that was taking up all the space. So folks, if it looks like it's overflowing, give your stock pot a good shake. And everything will settle down to the bottom. Optional upgrade to your stock. I've got some soup bone here. I got this from Bloomer's Family Farm. Basically, it's the end cut of a piece of meat where the meat is still attached to the bone, but maybe with the butcher there wasn't enough meat to turn it into another cut, steak, roast, whatever. Your other options, if you do say a spatchcock chicken, which I did a video on that a couple months back, I'll be doing one soon in the injection series, the carcass of the chicken, freeze it, as I said, in the bag. Throw it in the freezer, and when you do your next stock, throw the whole thing in. It's going to be fantastic. Now, it is frozen, which is why it's holding this shape. It'll thaw out once we get the water boiling, that's fine. But like I said, big bone here. There were some thinner cuts around it that they probably couldn't turn into anything. I don't even know what cut of meat this might have been. Don't know, but it's made for putting into soup or stock to add the beef type of flavor. So throw it in the pot. Now that we have all the veggie scraps and we have the soup bone or whatever your meat upgrade, totally optional, that you picked, it's time to fill the pot with water. The goal here when you're filling it is you want everything covered. Now, everything's frozen, so you have to factor in that as it starts to thaw, it will sink down in the water a little bit. So if you look here, close enough. Optional upgrade number 2, throw in some fresh vegetables. These are the ones you saw me cutting up at the beginning of the video. So I'm just gonna chop these up, a couple slices, whatever, and throw them in. Throw the pot on the stove, throw the burner on high, set a timer. 2 hours is good. Come on back later. Couple notes I want to tell you guys about how much time you should allow. As you know, when you boil water and it evaporates or turns into steam, you start losing water, which means the amount of water we started with will actually be less as time goes on. But the longer you boil, the more concentrated the stock will become. So really, 2 hours is more of a guideline. Grab a spoon, have a little taste. It's not going to taste like soup, like I said. This is just veggie stock. Ultimately, how long you boil it for and how much you end up with is totally up to you. If you want a very concentrated, very potent stock, 3 hours, 4 hours. The important note for safety, don't let the pot run dry. Other than that, what you do time-wise is up to you. I'll check in with you guys in a couple hours. Once you get your stock up to a boil, you can turn it down to a simmer. Keep checking on it. Make sure you're watching the water level. In the meantime, go get your strainer and get that ready because you are going to need that when we dump this out. And what you also need in addition to the strainer is another very large bowl or another stock pot if you happen to have 2 of them. We'll get to that in the next shot. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, there we go. I did mine about 3 hours or so. How long did you guys do yours for? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. And more importantly, did you get a spoon out and try some? I did. Because there's a few cobs of corn in here, the corn flavor actually blended in pretty nicely. I wasn't expecting that, never tried that before, so probably do it again. Got a sieve, and like I said, you want an extra big bowl or another stock pot if you haven't. I only have the one, but big bowl, strainer. You do want something that is fine meshed. Any of the bell pepper seeds that made it in here will go through those larger holes. So you need a fine mesh sieve. Get your barbecue gloves or your oven mitts and just go slow. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take those cobs of corn out because they are just waiting to fall out and splash into everything. I'll be right back. I've pulled 7 cobs of corn out of here. I also took that big chunk of beef and the beef bone out, but you can see the amount of vegetables that are still in there. So if you're not careful, they're all going to slosh out hot stock everywhere, like it's a horror movie waiting to happen. Don't throw the veggies into the garbage. You're gonna melt your garbage bag. Just stick this thing off to the side for a couple hours and let it all cool off. Then dump the rest into the garbage or into your compost, whatever you want to do. Come on in here, take a look at the awesome color. It looks awesome. Let's have a little taste test. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very rich. Like I said, you'll be shocked. For those of you who haven't made stock before, you'll be a little shocked when you taste that first because you're probably going to think it's going to taste like some kind of soup broth. Salty. No. It's just a rich, a very concentrated vegetable broth with that little bit of beef flavor in there. This will form the basis of some of the injections that we're going to be doing over the next few videos. Last step, grab yourself a ladle, get your mason jar. I'm going to need a bunch of these. Some kind of a funnel will do. Just funnel it in. It's as easy as that. If you throw this in the fridge, it's probably going to last you about a week to a week and a half. And it's good to use as, you know, you're going to make rice. Use this as a liquid when you're making your rice or quinoa or whatever the case. Your injections, you can make soup with this. If you want it to last a little longer, leave your mason jars out a few hours, let it fully cool down, make sure it's not still hot, and then when it's fully cooled down, put it in the freezer. Last but not least, if you are going to freeze it, don't forget, liquids do expand a little bit when they freeze. So leave a little headroom if you're going to throw it in the freezer. That way the liquid has just that little bit extra to expand towards the top. All right, you guys got any questions? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of veggies you threw into your stock and how much you concentrated it. Glad you guys are watching. Thanks a lot for all the subscribers showing me their support and the new subscribers as well. I really appreciate you guys watching. Slap the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what else you want to see me barbecuing or cooking or injecting or any suggestions you have, and I'll be happy to give it a shot. Feel free to subscribe if you're not, and hey, don't tell my parents I was smoking in the backyard. I'll see you guys next time. Is that's fine? Is it normally that much?